Hello, and welcome to Tech Cubicle on SAP. I am Daryl Griffiths, and this is my weekly 180 where I spend 180 seconds on the latest techie news that impacts the world of SAP. And at the end, I pick my favourite to review in a little more detail in the cubicle. In my SAP techie news this week, Microsoft released an inside track blog post on how they use the power of Azure for running their internal SAP systems. The blog post details how Microsoft run ECC6, as well as SAP S4HANA Central Finance, BW for HANA, SAP SCM, BobJ, GRC, and surprisingly SAP PI, which is now out of support, so I wonder if they mean SAP PO here. Microsoft migrated that lot way back in 2018 and have been busy tying in their Unified Telemetry Platform, or UTP, to provide service maturity and business process monitoring across the SAP Business Process layer, SAP Application layer, infrastructure layer, and API layer. The UTP provides holistic monitoring leveraging Power BI for reporting dashboards. The link to the post is down below. A Diginomica article interviews SAP's global head of AI, Walter Sun, and asks key questions including, why don't we build AI to challenge human biases? In the interview, Walter gives an example of using AI to provide valuable, unbiased input into the compensation adjustments for employees at the end of the year. The only thing I might add into this is that it echoes back to the Sapphire presentations where data quality is absolutely critical. Without quality data from every employee being compared by the algorithm, then the whole of the output could be skewed. It could lead to a rather contentious compensation review with possibility of being sued for discrimination. The customer really needs to get on top of the data quality, then the AI can do its thing and hopefully in a transparent way. See my previous video link, which is above here somewhere, on other SAP and AI related items that could go wrong. The link to the article is down below. In ASUG Insights, a detailed article on how Utegration, a Cognizant-owned energy and utilities-focused consulting company, helps utilities customers with the move to S4HANA through its Utility4U modular accelerator solution that contains pre-configurations for S4HANA. The aim of Utility4U is to provide a common set of base processes and proven best practices across a wide range of utility companies in North America. The article talks through the building of an SAP S4HANA business case, plus the benefits of adopting a new technology on things like staff retention and skills acquisition. It's a long read, but the link is in the description down below. SAP Chief Architect Christoph Zimmermann blogs about the new SAP ERP Private Edition solution offering from SAP. There's been an SAP ERP Private Edition for a long while now, but it previously meant the customer had to be running ERP on the HANA database. This new offering allows SAP customers to instead run ERP on the Microsoft SQL Server database in the SAP Private Cloud. The solution is in partnership with Microsoft, and so this solution is only possible to be hosted by SAP in the Microsoft Azure public cloud. The post details the benefits to the customer, including simplifying a combined hybrid move to a RISE with SAP contract. The link to the post is down below. The SAP community's resident independent expert Jens Gleichmann analyzes the new features assigned to the latest HANA 2.0 SPS8, which is due to drop in November. Some of the changes improve the flexibility of the HANA database for existing use cases, like partitioning enhancements, for example, while others should help make some tricky but great features a lot more simpler to implement and manage. I've put a link to Jens's LinkedIn article down below. Thanks, Jens. My final item this week is the blog post from Chief Architect at SAP, Nicholas Acker, where he details the news that SAP Cloud ALM customers can now increase SAP Cloud ALM tenant memory and API data transfer limits. An example provided in the post is where a Cloud ALM customer with one tenant procures two SAP Cloud ALM tenant extensions. This bumps the available HANA memory from 8 GB to 24 GB and provides 24 GB of outbound API data transfer per month. See the blog post for more details, including the material number for ordering. I've placed the link in the description down below. My favourite item this week is SAP ERP Private Edition option for Microsoft SQL Server. By now, we've all heard of the RISE with SAP S4HANA private cloud solution. That is where SAP host and manage the customer's S4HANA system on a cloud platform, and it could be one of SAP's own data centres or one of the big three public cloud providers. For a long time now, at least from early 2020s, the SAP ERP Private Edition has existed. Details are light on this option, and it has not really been something that SAP have advocated in the drive to convince customers to move to S4HANA.
No, you can tell her, you can tell her. I cannot. Yes, sir, tell her. Oh, tell her, please, tell her.
That is, until now. Maybe the lack of movement from customers to adopt S4HANA has caused a reaction in the bowels of SAP. The excellent blog post by David Lees of Basis Technologies shows that a huge proportion of SAP ECC customers could still be on ECC well past 2027 and on into the early 2030s. Previously, for a customer to be eligible for SAP ERP Private Edition, the customer had to be running ERP on the HANA database, or at least take a migration to HANA during the migration into the hosting platform. With this new announcement, customers can now take up the SAP ERP Private Edition solution and run the database on Microsoft SQL Server, with the whole solution being hosted in Microsoft Azure Public Cloud. The diagrams and the text are clear on the page. The customer must already be on SQL Server. I guess this would mean a customer on SAP ASE database, for example, would need to perform a database migration to SQL Server before they could then migrate to the ERP Private Cloud Edition. I wonder if behind the scenes there is some cost neutrality going on with the SQL Server database license. Usually SAP would have to license SQL Server from Microsoft to be able to then provide a runtime license for customers. If customers are consuming Microsoft Azure hosting services, then that SQL Server license could maybe be free to SAP as part of the consumption deal, which would be a cost saving for SAP overall. But why would a customer move to SAP ERP Private Edition solution on SQL Server? The blog page highlights a couple of scenarios. First, it allows a customer to make the technical move first, putting their system into the cloud with minimal changes. Then, once in the cloud, a migration to S/4HANA could be performed to convert it into a RISE contract. The second scenario is where a customer has an ERP on SQL Server on-premise and also an S/4HANA system on-premise. In this scenario, the blog page suggests that the S/4HANA system would move to a RISE deal, and included in that same deal, the ERP system could move to SAP ERP Private Edition on SQL Server. One single cloud contract. Later in the timeline, that ERP system is migrated to S/4HANA and into the same portion of the RISE contract as the existing S/4HANA system. This last scenario seems to be targeted at large business with multiple ERP systems which are going through or need to go through some form of consolidation as part of their migration to S/4HANA. Whilst the blog page looks simple, there are a number of questions. An awful lot of questions, actually.
Oh God, here we go.
It might be all right.
Yeah.
What happens to the peripheral systems? Customers would likely have BW systems, middleware like SAP PO, or even running already de-supported solutions and soon-to-expire products, which would not be accepted into the SAP hosting platform. It would seem to me that the customer would need to be at the right stage in their migration program to be able to take advantage of this solution without having too much of a headache with the peripheral systems. The last beneficial item listed in both scenarios is take advantage of Microsoft Cloud Services for innovation. I can actually see this as being beneficial. This would allow customers to make use of change data capture through Azure Data Factory to extract the data from both the ERP system and S/4HANA system and combine into a single Azure data lake for reporting using Microsoft Power Platform tools. A similar story could be said for adopting the Azure API Manager for exposing API integrations and integrating natively in the cloud. SAP need to be careful. The customer could get routed into Azure services and not need SAP BTP. Well played, Microsoft. Well played. My final thought on this. Is what we are seeing a concession from SAP? A slight wobble, a chink in the armour in the push for S/4HANA adoption? Could we soon see a fully fledged offering of an all-encompassing SAP ERP Private Edition solution, no matter what database?
No way, man.
Could that come with free extended maintenance until 2030 as the carrot? Maybe, just maybe, customers could benefit from holding their current SAP ERP position.
Don't be scared.
As always, reference links are in the description down below. Drop me a comment, give the video a thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Just say